pleasure to welcome all of you guys here. It's the 6th annual Seminar Fair Day. We have a jam-packed schedule for you today that I just went through, so I won't take up too much of your time, but I do want to make sure that we all understand why we're here today. So to do that, we're going to talk for a second about investments. Who here knows about investments? What is an investment? Anybody know? Come on, you guys have heard of investments. So what's your name? Deshaun, how are you doing? What's an investment? That's exactly what I would have said. Exactly, spot on, right? You put your money into something and you're trying to get something back. So what are some examples, right? You might want to buy a stock. The stock costs $10, and you're hoping, in a week, in a month, in a year, the stock goes up to $15, and you sell it, and how much money did you make? $5. If you put in 10 and you got back 15 later. Exactly. So that's investing in the stock market. You can also invest in a business or a small business. Let's say it's something small. Your friend comes over to you, he's like, hey, I want to start a lemonade stand. Right? I don't have lemons, and I don't have water, and I don't have sugar. So what are you going to do, right? It's like, he comes over and he's like, hey, buddy, lend me $100, okay? And I'm going to start this lemonade stand. And as soon as we start making money, I'm going to split the profits with you, right? So now you invest $100 into this business, and you're hoping that you're going to get something back. What's going to happen? You're going to make your profits. The profits are going to be split with you. At some point, you're going to get back the $100, and hopefully more, right? Okay, what's the problem with investments? Huh? So I'm hearing it. It's a risk. It's a huge risk. You could buy that stock for $10 and it comes back at $5, right? You give your friend $100 for a lemonade stand and he decides to serve ice cold lemonade in Iceland in the winter and no one's buying, right? So it's very risky. What would it be? How great would it be, rather, if I can guarantee you that on a certain investment that you're not going to lose anything, or you're guaranteed not to lose anything? Wouldn't that be great? Pretty good. I'm going to get away from that for a second and tell you a little bit about my personal life, because that's super exciting for everyone here. I'm actually a second-generation immigrant, so my parents said, anyone here last year? Great, okay. No matter. I'm a second-generation immigrant. My parents were both born in America, but all four of my grandparents came in from Europe. They actually had to escape because the Nazis were killing all Jews they could get their hands on. And so Jews had to leave to come to this country where there was religious tolerance for any race, culture, religion. You could just practice your life, nobody cares, just be a good person and don't violate the law, right? So my mother's parents actually both came from the same country, it was Hungary, and they didn't know each other before the war, and they did different things. So my grandfather worked in a family business. They had a lumber yard. They were actually very successful. They had a lot of trees, you chop them down, you make wood for construction, you sell it. Very successful. Made good money, kept the family alive. My grandmother, she went to school, she went to college, she became a doctor. Both my grandparents survived the war. My grandfather actually survived a concentration camp, and my grandmother was in hiding for years. And thank God for that, I wouldn't be here if they hadn't. And then they were able to escape and come to this country. And so when they came here, they both came with the shirts on their backs. So my grandfather, his lumber business was gone. Right? The Nazis took it, you can't bring it with you, he couldn't bring money with him, it was gone. His family's investment in that business disappeared. And so he came here looking for any job he can get. I'm sure many of us know people who can relate. When you get any job you can get, you want to put food on the table, and you're just hustling to support yourself, support your family. My grandmother also came with a shirt on her back, but she was a doctor. And a doctor in Hungary is also a doctor in the United States. She had an education. And the Nazis could take away her family, and they could take away her business, her family's business, but they couldn't take away her education. And my grandfather realized that the best investment you can make is not where you put your money into, but you don't only invest money, we also invest time. We can invest not in my friend's business, but I can invest in myself. Where do you put your time into yourself? And you realize that the best investment you can make is investing in your education. Because the Nazis, or a storm, or some random incident, or just a bad stock, anything can go away. But nobody can take away the education and the time and investment you put into yourself. So, thank you. So to conclude, you're here today. You heard there's a jam-packed schedule. You're going to hear from a few speakers. You're going to hear from the Dean of Yeshiva University. You're going to hear from Mr. Keelis, who works at Hostos Community College. Councilman Udanis Rodriguez is expected to be here by the 6th, and the wonder all down, so we'll see what happens. And there's going to be lunch where you can work with college mentors. You're going to go to workshops where you can prepare college applications. You'll come to a college fair. And so my message to you is like, pay attention, right? You're not going to be able to figure out your whole lives today. But think about where you might be able to focus your investment in yourself, your education, into something that you want to have with you for the rest of your life. And hopefully, I'll tell you, but the same thing my grandfather told me, like, you could only invest in your education, there's always a return. So if you decide, like today, you're going to see different colleges, there are many different career paths within education, and you get to choose what you want, because the investment you make in yourself, your skills and your education that you get early on in your life, you will have with you for the rest of your life, and nobody can take it away from you. Okay? And that's the plan. Thank you for coming. Good luck.